What's going on, people? What's happening, man? How's everybody doing out there today? It's your man JB with you once again, and it is the Mind Your Business podcast. What you guys think about that countdown scene? I mean, I told you guys I've been working, man. I was excited about that because some of those breaks I found, some of that music, man, is I could let it play. You know what I mean, but I can't hold my man Roy up. But I could let that joint play because y'all know something. Y'all know it. Come on, So let me get you guys. So those that don't know, I used to do radio back in the day, and I used to pride myself on my musical selection. I was the programmer and everything. So I want to put that out there. So that give me a chance to kind of sneak back in there a little bit. But in the meantime, you guys, once again, it's Mind Your Business podcast powered by Hanging with the Harrisons. And we got to do this. If you haven't got your merch yet, your hoodies, make sure you guys get out there and get it. I will make sure that we also I'll put the link up. It's on Bonfire. You see the hoodies. Just kind of support what it is that we're doing. We're offering free games to you guys and want to continue to give you information that's going to cause you guys to influencers, creators, business owners, entrepreneurs. We're trying to help you guys out, and we have these guests on that just basically give away free game. Now with the merchandise, this is letting us know that we're doing what it is that we're supposed to be doing, and because you guys are supporting it. So we got stuff for guys and girls. As you see the pink. My wife said, "You got to do a pink hoodie. You got to do a pink hoodie for the ladies." All right, so there it is, blue, black. But we got them. We got the long sleeves as well. So make sure you guys. I would love for you guys to support that. I really would. And so that's what it is. But right now, we're going to get my man Roy up. And Roy has, you know what? I'm not even going to do that. I'm not going to do it. Roy, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Hey, what's going on, boss? I'm outstanding, man. Glad to be here.
Hey, listen, man. I'm glad we were able to make this thing work. We kind of going back and forth. I know your schedule is crazy, so we were finally able to do it. I got a chance to read your bio, and matter of fact, let me tell you, I ran across. I want to say I ran across the information on one of the, like a tech journal or something like that. Uh,
Okay.
Let the people know who you are, and outside of who you are, just talk a little bit about what you do as well.
Absolutely, man. So I'm Roy Scott. I'm founder and CEO of Healthy Hip Hop. And a big picture, our goal is to build an urban Disney, an iconic children's brand. And so the reason this is so important to me and why we do what we do is because I was that kid who was just really influenced by hip hop music and culture, and I didn't have a lot of guidance around me. And so after I graduated high school, I had an opportunity. We were talking a little bit about basketball. I had an opportunity to play some Division I basketball, and I decided, nope, I'm gonna skip all that because I wanted to be a rapper. And so I'm originally from Kansas City, so I started my journey the streets of Kansas City doing my gangster rap deal. But everything changed for me when I was picking up my son Justice. He was like 4 years old at the time, and I noticed him repeating my music word for word. And so those lyrics promoted drugs, violence, misogyny. And so that was my light bulb moment, seeing him repeating the music and just reflecting how influential hip hop was on me and inspired me to create a change. And that's when Healthy Hip Hop was born. And so typically when you think about kids' music, it's a little bit watered down, it's a little corny, but like our music is relevant to what you're hearing on the streets and on the radio, etc. But it's all clean cut for children and families. And so started that journey and been grinding ever since. And like I said, in the tech journal, we ultimately evolved into a tech company. So that's kind of in a nutshell. And we'd love to talk more about my journey on the tech space and in the tech space and how I've kind of evolved in that realm.
And so, how did you go from athlete to tech guy?
Yeah, it was a journey because so I still hoop too though. So my son's a junior. I'm giving him the works. So, I mean, as long as I can, hey, as long as I can, because I know my days are numbered. Because
Right.
he's
Yeah.
actually pretty strong.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was in the really got out of the basketball scene, got into the music, and so back in our day, I was my initial hustle was like Masterpiece. I had the CDs,
Hmm.
I was hustling the CDs out of my trunk. And so I knew that was how I was turning a profit. I'll buy 1,000 CDs for $1,000. I'll sell them in the streets for on average like $7. I'll make 7 grand and I would recopy, reflip. And I was like my hustle. And so, my guys in the streets, they was doing other stuff. Like my hustle was strictly the CDs. So anyway, it started with the music. And as my story grew and I ended up changing my whole direction and like doing something positive and doing something that was God driven, like the spirit of God in my heart, my mind, like he gave me this vision and
Hmm.
I stuck to that. And so when we started, it was still kind of the original hustle. I had physical products. We were doing shows. We were performing at schools. So we kind of organically found success in the education space for healthy hip hop. And so we started getting booked at schools. And so we were doing performances. The performances kept growing. So we were doing like stuff for the LeBron James Family Foundation, MLB, NFL, etc. But big picture, we knew us being physically in a school that wasn't scalable. And so I was just paying attention to every industry and who was continuing to emerge as like the big winners in regards to the revenue. And it was on the tech side. If it was in the music industry, you're talking about Spotify, you're talking about Apple Music. If it was in automotive, you were talking Uber, Lyft, Turo, and it goes on and on. So I knew we had to create some innovative technology to really scale our business. And so did some research and also kind of did some customer discovery and seeing how teachers were using this in the classroom and how parents were using this at home. And then we pivoted to create this online platform that educators can use in schools and a mobile application that parents can use at home. So started that journey. It's been one hell of a learning curve, like from raising capital to just learning the language and the verbiage to building your MVP, which is a minimal viable product, to launching, to testing, to get going through accelerator programs and pitch competitions, etc. So it's been quite the journey, and I'm still learning.
Hmm. And how big is your team?
So right now we got 3 full-time, and then we have 2 part-time. Other than that, we basically our tech development is from an offshore team. So I do
Mhm.
have 5 full-time developers offshore. So about ten in total. So pretty, still a small, intimate team.
And so what is your day, your average day? What does your average day look like?
Man, it's my average day, I'm taking a lot of phone calls, Zoom calls with investors. Uh, right now is really pivotal for us because our app is live, and our iOS and Android, and also the online platform is up. But still, we're making some tweaks to it to really get it prepared for a full launch. So right now, I'm in the trenches doing like foundational stuff, like our uh, our go-to-market strategy, cleaning up the product, the UI UX, like the user experience. Um, I'm in a couple of entrepreneurship programs, so lots and lots of meetings. Some stuff is starting to get back in person, so I'm in Atlanta, really getting acclimated in the Atlanta entrepreneurial ecosystem. I go to the gathering spot quite a bit.
Mhm.
That's where a lot of it's a lot of good activity going there. So that's really pretty much my day. I really try to start it like with some. My mental health has been like my top priority. Mental, physical, and spiritual health, just because in life and plus in business and just in raising a family, like your mental health got to be strong
Right.
because there's so many different variables and things that go on. So I started like meditation and prayer, and then I get right to it, the meetings, the calls, trying to get this thing to the next level.
And so for you, when you went from doing, I guess just the street rap, the
Right.
whatever, however you want to call it, the transition from that to, all right, you know what, I gotta stop. I can't talk about killing these dudes no more.
Right.
I
Right.
can't keep talking about flipping birds, and I just can't do that no more.
Right.
What was that transition like for you, as well as then how was that relayed to like your partners, like the guys that you was with at the time?
Oh yeah. Also, so we was rolling deep too. Like we had a whole, it was the chop it up click. I mean, we started with and so I ended up merging with a group called Midwest Side. So that's where Tech Nine's originally from Kansas City. I started with him, many years ago, about 20 years ago or more. And yeah, I mean, when I first made the decision, there was a whole bunch of like, I was like, for real, like you.
Mm,
Because initially I was like, I'll just stop rapping. Like some cats are, oh, you a kids rapper now. So it was some people didn't see the vision, but as I started putting the work in, eventually people were like, okay, you owned to something with this. But initially it was a lot of like, bro, you tripping, like this is silly. Like what are you doing?
mm.
And for me, like I said, it was such a spiritual thing. It was such a God thing for me that I was stuck to it. Nobody was gonna stop me from moving on it. I'm moving on this, and I just felt that passionately about it, and been manifesting and walking out the dream ever since of again creating an iconic children's brand like an urban Disney. So for the transition, it was tough, and it's still tough, but it's worth it though.
And what is and I want to say I read somewhere that at one time there was like maybe some pushback from some of the bigger I don't know,
Right.
animated companies or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
Like what was that like, or what is it? How is that influencing you guys, or is it influencing you guys at all? Is it a hindrance, or what is that like?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, it was fuel to my fire. It was challenging though, and it was a big loss. So what happened is we were selected to pitch on season 7 of Shark Tank, and just fast forward, we successfully closed the deal with Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful. Now we were hoping Damon John was going to be on our show because we knew like Damon John would immediately click with this. We like this is something that's in his wheelhouse, but he wasn't on our episode. And so anyway, filmed, closed with Mr. Wonderful. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the show, but like Mr. Wonderful is one of the hardest sharks to close. It was a $500,000 investment for 50% of just our kids' television program. At that time we had a completely different business model. This is actually a part of what uh, made us or made me think differently and pivot to the tech side. Because when we were on Shark Tank, we were pitching the syndication of our kids' television show. We were pitching the publishing of our music, our merchandise, our live events, and curriculums. So it was like 5 things that were in this bucket. So anyway, closed the deal, started the due diligence, and we knew more important than that deal, it was the Shark Tank effect. So at that time, they were averaging like 7 million viewers. So we're gonna have 7 million new viewers on our business. Like this is gonna be our break. Like this is gonna this is our tipping point. This is about to change the game for us. So that was in September of 2015, and so we're waiting on the phone call like when this episode is gonna air, and so finally got the call in March of 2016, which about 6 months later, say, "Hey, Roy, I want you to know you guys did an incredible job, but unfortunately your episode is not going to air." And so you told my heart like fell to my feet. I'm like, what you mean it's not going to air? Like, what's the problem? He's like, oh, well, the slots got full, kind of gave me some BS. And so I emailed Alex Kenji immediately. That's the CEO of O'Leary Ventures, who we started the due diligence with. And I wanted to make sure our deal was still on the table. So I emailed him. I was like, hey, Alex, can we talk tomorrow? And he was like, yeah, let's talk right away. And so we got on the phone and he was like, listen, Roy, can I talk to you off the record? I'm like, of course. And he's like, well, excuse my language, you guys got fucked. And I'm like, what you mean? And he's like, well, ABC, the network that Shark Tank comes on, is owned by Disney. And they looked at your children's programming as competition. So welcome to Hollywood.
Wow.
Is what we were told. Yeah. And so, the best and worst validation. So, the best, like, hey, Disney sees us as a threat, so we're onto something. But we also just lost our deal. We lost our national exposure. And so, yeah, it was a gut punch. And, that was like a, make or break moment for us. Because in that, again, it really tested my faith. I was like, man, I got to, I have to keep moving forward. But we just had to take a different direction. So it's funny. I was just thinking about this other day. So that's when I initially made the pivot to the tech. And like, okay, how are we going to successfully build and scale a tech company? Because at the time, our business model was more like live events. And this was before COVID. So I was like, this still isn't scalable. And COVID even proved it more because it basically shut down all the live events. So I kind of started even before that. It's like 2017. So, and ironically enough, Walt Disney is originally from my hometown of Kansas City. And so when I got that news, I was depressed. I was on my couch thumbing through Netflix, and I was watching this documentary, or it's like a movie actually, called Walt Before Mickey. And it talked about Walt Disney's entrepreneurial journey, how he stayed, how he had similar moments of rejection. He stayed resilient, and then basically moved from Kansas City to LA, moved his business to LA, and then, took it to the next level. And so I'm trying to repeat history. As I said, the urban Disney, I took my rejection. I moved from Kansas City to the A, so hopefully repeat that history. And lastly, we just got one of our biggest investments, which was $500,000. So that resilience of, hey, getting rejected, initially, that $500,000 deal, having to restructure, get in the tech space, and then, grind it out 5 years to another $500,000 deal that's actually legitimate and went through it, and we got the right people. So it's tough, but again, it's just about, to me, the resilience, the faith, the stick-to-itiveness. You just gotta, and this is life, so you gotta just take the punches and just keep going.
Yeah, and I want to say one of the episodes that we had a guest on, and that was one of the things that we were talking about, was the fact that sometimes right when you're on the edge of, or right when you're there, like you're right there, but you quit. And then when you quit, you miss out on everything that you were working for.
Right.
For you, like, what is the motivating factor? Like, at what point? Because I'm sure you had those moments where, like, man, forget this, man.
Right.
I don't know what I know you got your kids, married or not, but even with that, like, if you're married and your wife was like, look, man, bro, I get it, man, but
right,
you got to figure something out. Like, so, what was that like? What's your support system like? And then, what is it that kept you going?
Yeah, it was tough. So you're right. I am married with 3 kids, and so and on top of taking that big L, not airing, is they were telling us, so hey, you got to make sure you're ready for, this windfall of opportunity. So make sure your website is fully on the right servers to handle the traffic. Make sure, you got your merch. So I took a $25,000 loan. So I'm also, not only do we lose, I'm $25,000 in the hole. And so, yeah, my wife, me and my wife, she's always been supportive, but that was definitely a tough moment where it's like, what's the next, what's the next move for you? And on top of that, my co-founder at the time, he pretty much he pretty much quit and backed out. He was like, man, I can't, he was newly married. We got the news like about 30 days before he got married. So he was like, man, I can't take this. He backed out. And so for me, again, it really boiled down to my faith and my trust in God. So at that time, I was really hot. I was pissed, bro. I'm like, man, we, like you said, we right there. This is it. And I was going to the gym and I was just taking my frustration out on the iron, like, man. And I remember praying, and God simply spoke to me. It was real simple. He said, do you trust me? And I was like, yes. He's like, well, keep going. And so I kept going, but ultimately it was God and also my wife and my kids, because I worked in corporate America and I kind of got even pushed out the back door there by some hating type stuff, because I was selling health insurance and I was one of the only, brothers in there that was doing it, and I was thriving. And so I knew how to make money, but I was like, this is something that I'm passionate about, and this is my legacy, and I want to build something for my family that can pass down for generations to come. And so ultimately it was God, my wife, and my children. And I was like, you know what? I'm trusting the vision God put in my heart. This is just a challenging moment that I'm gonna have to I'm gonna have to stick to it. And so that's why I tend to stick to it. And so I stuck to it and kept pushing. And I just learned so much from it. It made me so much stronger of a person, my character and everything. So it was ultimately, yeah, God and my family. That was my motivating factor. I gotta do something for them. I gotta create some change.
Mm-hmm. And so, what would you say to, so somebody right now might be watching or listening, and they're an entrepreneur, trying to get their business off the ground, running all kind of red tape, hurdles, whatever. What would be the one thing that you would say to them, just as motivation?
I would say, basically, just always be flexible. Always be open-minded and ready to learn and pivot. Because sometimes you'll get so stuck in like, well, I'm gonna do it this way. Like if you're doing something a certain way, just pay attention and be coachable. Like be willing to learn and make the adjustments necessary. Um, and just do what you're passionate about. Like once you do what you're passionate about, you love what you're doing, just be coachable in this game. Because the thing is, like you're gonna face adversity. That's just what's a couple of things. I know you asked for one, but that'd be the main thing. Be coachable. Be coachable in this game and do what you're passionate about. But whenever you're going after something, there's going to be a lot of adversity, so just be prepared for that and embrace the adversity. Maybe that's what I would say, is embrace the adversity. You know what I'm saying? Embrace it, because it's hard to see when you're in it, but that's part of what just shapes you as a person, and that shapes your character. And when you stick to it, like you said, you get there, you almost get done. It's almost like that one meme where the dude, he's chipping with the block through the through that, like the cave, and he about to hit the goal, but he turns around. That meme was actually based off of it was a true story. I learned about it actually through this book called Think and Grow Rich, where there was a gentleman who went to, I might butcher the story, but he went to San Francisco for like the gold rush. The gold rush was happening, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he invested, and they were digging in this mine. He got all the tools and stuff, and he kept digging, and he couldn't find anything, right? And so he gave up, basically sold his equipment off, and probably just about broke even, sold his equipment. And another person went in and basically hired an architect who knew like the structures of the mine and different stuff. And the dude was just 3 inches off. So he just had to change his direction just a little bit, and he struck gold. And so that's why I'm saying also be coachable. So in the game, you might be going, and maybe it's not going as you think, talk to some people who have been there and done that, or listen to what the customer is saying and make the adjustments based on that, not just based off your knowledge and what you feel, but what are the people saying? What are the people who have been there saying? So you can take that and then apply it to your game.
And for those of you that may just be tuning in and just catching the show, it's a Mind Your Business podcast powered by Hanging with the Harrisons. I'm your host, JB Harrison. We got my man Roy Scott on, and we're talking about his company is called Healthy Hip Hop. He has a company that is all about a family. It's about children, and it's utilizing the medium of hip hop to educate. I'm probably gonna mess it up. Probably to influence our kids, but in a different direction.
No, that's right. You got it right.
You know what I mean? So, can you draw? Like, who does all the animations and stuff? Like,
Yeah. So that was part of even putting the team together. So we have some illustrators that are on the team full time. So it's like, man, again, like being this urban Disney, like, so we have like these animated characters, but they actually like really spit, like they go, like when you hear this, it sounds like, what's happening right now, like in the game. But again, it's animated characters. So we have a team, part of our team is focused on that and animation. And we also have an in-house team who's writing and producing the music.
Right.
Yeah. Making sure everything is industry standard. Because again, that's kind of our deal. Like if you think about, again, we talked about this, like usually kids' music it's like one-sided. Like I don't want to hear Baby Shark again. Like this stuff is, man, it's terrible,
bruh. Oh my God! Right. Look, man. So I got two younger boys. So I've got a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old. And one day they were playing Baby Shark. Then they played Baby Shark again, and then they played the remix. And next thing I know, there is a Baby Shark channel. Like there's a channel on TV on one of the net or whatever,
right?
And it's a Baby Shark channel. And I was just, and my wife and I, we, the song, like we just, oh my gosh, like it's just, but we're thinking about the business aspect of it,
right?
And about how much money these
won.
Cats created from off of that one song. And then they just, with the remixes, and then it's just crazy, man.
Crazy.
Yeah, Pink Phone.
Yeah, I think it was Pink Phone, right? There were that song. I believe to this day is the highest streamed song on YouTube like ever. I'm talking about like billions and billions of views on that thing, man. So they like you said, they found a way to pivot it, and now it's it's everything now. So hey, I'm not knocking Baby Shark. We trying to do that too. You know what I'm saying?
I have to say. So with that, you have a team of producers. I guess you guys quote unquote have ghostwriters as well, or what is that the term that you use, or what is the term? Just writers or
Yeah. I guess you can call it ghostwriters. You know what I mean, for that for the animated characters. So think about this big picture. Like as we continue to grow this, and as we prove this concept, is like big picture. Again, we know how, like, so right now, hip hop is the most consumed genre in the world. It passed hip hop and rock like in 2018. It's the most consumed genre, most influential genre. But again, in our space, nobody's really doing it for children and families that's culturally relevant. So that's where Healthy Hip Hop fills that gap. But big picture, and that's why I moved to the A, because a lot of the cats are really accessible down here in this. And so imagine, little baby having a character. You see what I'm saying? Like, or it gives them an opportunity to still be street, do what you want. Because Healthy Hip Hop is not like anti hip hop. We still love hip hop. We still understand the impact it has. So we're not against it. But again, like you said, we want to use that medium as a way to influence kids, in a positive light. So imagine again, like as this thing grows, like we're shooting for the stars. Matter of fact, one of our investors, has a direct connection with Drake. So imagine Drake, he has a young 6-year-old son or so, 6 or something like that, around that age. That imagine him doing some Healthy Hip Hop with one of our characters and just getting those right endorsements and right people behind this to say, we all know this is a big problem, right? We all know that a lot of this, the hip hop music is just not appropriate for kids. So again, Healthy Hip Hop is filling that gap. And now how do we do it in the right way to now, like I said, getting the right endorsements from those in the culture of hip hop and also like sports and entertainment as well.
And then how? So, for instance, say you reach out to, we'll say Drake or Lil Baby, the baby, or whoever's baby, whatever baby. Um, if you reach out to them and say, "Hey, this is what we do. We want to have you as a character," would you say? But because, in a sense, and just because they're doing the music that they're doing, which is ultimately just, for the lack of a better word, trash. Not to say they can't
Yeah,
spit, not to say and not to take away
I know
their
what you're saying.
talent, but more
Right,
so the content. Um,
right,
and so, if you reach out to one of to them to come and become a character, we'll say, um, what do you think that will impact? And when I say impact the healthy hip hop movement, do you think it will impact it not from the standpoint of the endorsement, but from the standpoint of basically we're trying to put out good and clean content, but then we go get one of these dudes that put out the trash,
right,
and because ultimately, in a sense, you're promoting your brand, but then you're also going to promote that artist. And
right,
do you think that would I, look? I already know it would have an impact because it would get
right,
more eyes on what you guys are doing, hands down.
right.
Um, but
Yeah,
I'm
we would have to be careful about it for sure. We would definitely have to be careful. We talk through just what you're asking. So we would definitely be very careful and selective. At the end of the day, though, what we're seeing is like kids gonna be exposed to the other stuff, like regardless, right? So
yeah,
they
yeah,
like you can't stop nothing now. Like
yeah.
I was talking about this with my wife. Like I mean, like with could you imagine being like these kids? Could you imagine being elementary age with the internet? I mean,
Bro,
they got it's the wild wild west. I mean, they can get to anything, anyhow,
yeah,
anywhere. Like,
yeah, yeah,
so the thing is like a lot of them are exposed to it, and I
yeah.
think in this light, this will give these cats an opportunity to, hey, listen, we know you doing what I call the goon tunes. Hey, we know you're doing the goon tunes, but here now you get an opportunity to do something positive. You know what I'm saying? Like it's almost like I don't want to say charity, but it's like doing something for a good cause. So
Right.
so now so again Drake would be ideal because Drake is a little bit more clean. Even though he got some uh you know questionable content in regards to like, it's not healthy hip hop. You know what I'm saying? But he's the top artist in the game, but um he's not as like what's the word I'm looking for? Like edgy as maybe like a the baby or some of these. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right,
So
right,
we
right.
would definitely have to
Yeah,
be selective. But I think it's just kind of like remember our Sesame Street? They was bringing on
yeah, yeah,
different cats in the game. To kind, you know what I'm saying? So it'd be something along them lines. But we're still working through that. But I think us being endorsed by key figures in the industry.
yeah.
So again, right now we're in Atlanta. So I got a couple of my producers who actually work directly with Jermaine Dupri. So I really think him because imagine, he's like the king of kids rap. You think Chris Cross, Bow Wow,
Yeah.
etc. In the rap game, like, getting some folks like that really behind the healthy hip hop movement is going to bring more brand awareness and I think, elevate what we're doing. But we definitely will be selective about it though.
What are some of the names? I got a chance to kind of check out the site. What are some of the names of the characters that you guys have? And
Right.
is it programming? So do you guys have shows, or is it just uh, is it, so for instance, do you guys have programming, or what is it?
Yeah, so our main character right now is PJ Panda. We have Leo Lion. We have Princess Panda, and so right now, so we have done some animation. So big picture is to get to that, like doing a Netflix series and doing animated
Mhm,
shows and things like that. But just that stuff is very expensive. Like
mhm,
animation, it costs a lot. So to start, we're more focused on the music and we'll do like some lyric videos, some stuff that's a little more low cost just because we don't want to burn a lot on animation. Our secret sauce right now is producing the music, and so we put music on our app that our app, you can think of the Healthy Hip Hop mobile app as like a Spotify meets TikTok, but in a curated environment for children and families. So Spotify, meaning like if you download the app now, you got a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old. Like when you hop in the car, you can pull up the Healthy Hip Hop app and you can just play the music for them right through the app, right? So you don't worry about no other content that's,
Right.
inappropriate, and you can still have a quality. It's like creating these quality moments between the parent and the kids, right? Because the technology usually separates us because, like, man, here's your device, get away from me. Versus this is the opportunity. Hey, I got my kids in the car, or we about to get ready to go to school in the morning. I'm gonna pull up the Healthy Hip Hop app and I'm gonna play, a few PJ Panda songs. So that's the Spotify side of it. The TikTok side of it is if you like that song, you hit the little spinning record like TikTok, and it takes you to where you can create your own dance challenges or create these videos with your kids. And so again, our goal is to create like connectivity with parents and children through the app, because again, the most use cases right now is like I said, you give your kid a device and that's just kind of going to be quiet for a minute. You got to do something on this. Like we're kind of reverse engineering. Hey, look, here's a moment that you all can kind of engage together. And so that's the app. And so that's why on the tech side of things, we're more focused on that right now than the actual animation. Because right now we're at about 6,000 active users, 6,000 downloads on the app. And our goal is to get to 100,000 downloads in 2022. And once we get there in the tech space, that raises the valuation of your business value. So that means like what the company's worth. So for example, Clubhouse. So you're pretty sure you're familiar with Clubhouse, right? So on the tech side of things, when Clubhouse launched, they were grinding actually for a while first, but when they kind of pivoted to the more just full audio deal, they got to over, a few million users, which then put them at I want to say like a $3 billion or $4 billion valuation. And so what that meant is if my company is valued at 3 billion because of the users I have, now they're going to raise in venture capital, which is investment money for startups and tech companies. Now I can go raise venture capital. I can go raise $300 million and only give up 10% of my company. And so like I said, I've been learning kind of that side of the game. And that's why within our app, which is our primary focus for direct to consumer, is getting parents to download the app, getting parents to engage with the music and the user generated content within the app. And as we grow and scale that, now we become more valuable. Now we grow our reach, and then we can raise more capital, but also generate the revenue we need to then get into the animation and kind of take those next steps to actually become the urban Disney.
Well, I know one thing, man. You've been doing some research, just sitting here listening. You know what I mean? Listening to, you know, talking about the numbers, talking about the venture capital, and so how much prior to you getting into this, did you think it was going to be this much work, or is it more than what you ever imagined it to be?
Is more. It's more than I ever imagined it to be. I knew it was going to be definitely hard work, but it definitely turned out to be a lot more than I expected. But it's been a good thing though, because it's like again, it's challenging me to think outside the box. It's challenging me to get better. It's challenging me to be a better overall person, like my character and how I move and who I'm connecting myself. So now I'm surrounding myself also with people who, again, have been where I'm trying to go, who have successfully scaled and exited, who sold the company, or who are, doing millions of dollars of revenue. Because for me, it's definitely more than the money. To me, it's more about just the journey, but also, generating the revenue so I can do more for my family, so I can do more for others. And so it's definitely more. And that's why I said the mental health part is so important, because it stretched me, and it still stretches me. And sometimes I wake up like, man, what am I doing? Like this is, and then the other days I wake up and I'm on top of the world and I'm ready to run through a brick wall. But it's definitely been more, but it's been a good more.
So on the back end of that, how do you find the balance between a business that is a lot more than what you thought it was ever going to be, and still being a husband,
Right.
a father, a dad. How are you able to balance all of that? What's the balancing act look like?
Man, that's why I said for me, everybody's walk is different, and I definitely have no judgment, but just on anybody on what their backgrounds, beliefs, and that. But for me, it's always been all like really standing on the Word of God,
Hmm.
and the Word of God is what has given me the solid foundation to understand that. Guess what? Even this is good, keep the ambition, but my wife comes first. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Before the business, like my children come first. And a lot of times in the business, I'll be honest, like it hasn't been that. Like it's been where I've been just so in it, so going to where I lose sight of what's the top priority. And
Hmm.
so standing on the word of God has always got me back to the right path. And so now my goal is to stay on the right path and not to veer off with them with just being super ambitious or
Hmm.
going after every opportunity. It's more like staying grounded in the word, serving my wife first and foremost, and it's my own personal journey. That's what God is showing me. Like, listen, it's in her. I'm always praying, like, God, where are you at? He's like, I'm with her, and so serving her and being available and really making her top priority has unlocked everything else. So now that's been able to, give me that balance and then understand like I had to surround myself with people who are, who are smarter than me in the business space or who are technical entrepreneurs and things like that. So, but ultimately, yeah, the word of God has been without that, I don't know where I would be at. That's really has been my foundation. That's been my saving grace.
Yeah, because and it's my wife and I we had this conversation. I think like last week we talked, and that's kind of been one of the themes with a lot of the entrepreneurs that we've had on, a lot of the guests we've had on the show, especially the ones that are
Wow.
married, have family. It's that balance. How do you find that balance? For me, for me, a lot of times I get consumed with whatever venture that I'm in at the moment. So
Right.
for me, it's the Mind Your Business podcast,
Right.
and to the point, I'm up every day doing research. I'm doing this. I'm contacting guests. Always looking, how can I, what I need to do for gear? Do I need to, I'm learning a platform. So all of these things. And so my wife
Right.
and I had a conversation the other day, and just, she was like, well, at some point, babe, you got to kind of listen to some of your guests and find the balance as well.
Right.
You've got to be able to find the balance, and just the same way that you're investing all of this time and your energy into creating this, your family also needs that time as well.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? And so
For sure.
just trying to, that balance, and walk that tightrope, man. So
Yeah.
I get it and I understand, but that was why, one of the reasons why I asked, like, because we do these shows for future entrepreneurs, future business owners, uh, future creatives, influencers. Like, we do these shows for them just so that they can get the information, and so that they don't mess around, lose their houses, lose their families, lose their partners, their spouses, because they were so busy trying to build something,
Right.
that at the end of the day, while they were trying to build something over here, all of this over here
Yeah.
was falling.
You got neglected. Yeah, man.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
But
And so yeah,
100%.
so yeah, just trying to keep that balance, and it's hard, man. I'll be honest with you, because sometimes, man, you have a tendency, because you're going so hard and you want this thing to be so successful, and not successful just for you, but ultimately,
Yeah, them
you,
also.
right,
Huh?
for your family. You want to leave a legacy. But I think sometimes, as we do, we're going so hard on trying to leave a legacy.
That we missing the legacy. You know what I'm saying? You're missing the legacy. It's right there in your face, man. So but that's why I'm saying that word of God, because it's like the word of God for me personally, it shifts my mind and heart back to the right thing. Cause like, so for example, like the world, is going to tell you like, hey, you got to go harder. You
Right.
got to do more.
Yeah, you got to
You know what I'm
grind.
saying? God,
Yeah.
God been telling me rest.
Mm.
Like rest, young man. Like I said, I love your ambition, but I do this. Like, now don't get it twisted. Don't be lazy and don't stop, but just
Right.
rest, man. Like, trust me, I got this. I do this. And so, and again, and it's been a consistent theme for me as I pray, like, I just want to be with you. Where are you at in this? And that's where you continue to point to me. So now I'm making it my business to make sure my wife knows and feels and understands and is genuine that she is my top priority. You know what I'm saying? Above what any business can do. And then what I'm finding as I commit to that, like God is everything. He's like, yeah, all that's nothing. I do that. So as I commit and as I become more in tune and following the path that He's blazed for me, um, it just all for me, like it just works out better, man. Like in my mind and my heart, and it's settled. Like today is actually one of the first days I actually woke up feeling like that. I woke up first having to talk myself out of it. Like, man, and I spoke to myself calmly, got in my worship and my prayer, and I was like, today has been a really good, like a free flowing kind of day for me. So it's
And
been good.
and at what point in your entrepreneurship walk did that kind of click for you? At what point, whether it was God speaking, whether you were at a low point, whether your wife had to pull you to the side and be like, listen, man, at what point was it that you were like, you know what? I need to start doing this, and this to find balance?
Um, it was pretty early in the game. Because when I started and I had the vision, like, I started with my wife as a big part of the business. And so it ended up initially kind of we weren't communicating on the same page with the business. So it was like, okay, no, she's actually did her entrepreneurship thing. She was in the hair industry, and she was doing hair and she was doing really well with that. And so I supported her in that, and I just kind of continued pushing healthy hip hop. And so initially, when we kind of decided, all right, it's best that I just keep doing what I'm doing on the business side, and you do X, Y, Z. That's when, like you said, I got just so wrapped into it, like going hard, like I'm just got to go and make this happen. I just got to do it. And that's when I seen that proper attention that I was needing to give her was lacking. You know what I mean? And even some cases, like even with my kids, like I just wasn't fully available. And so it was early on. That's when I recognized that and knew, like, listen, I've got to shift and make sure that my wife and children are always the top priority. And then again, I'll get back into business and then I'll slip back again and like, hold on. I keep reeling it back. Hold on, no, this has got to be my top priority. Because like you said, I don't want it to be like I want them to feel my presence. So my pops, I love him dearly, but he wasn't present. You know what I mean? And so I knew I wanted to make sure my kids felt my presence and my wife felt that I'm here and I'm active. And and it's cool because what I'm doing is motivated by them, and they're actually included in a lot of what I do. So
Well, that's what's up, man. And that's kind of, like I said, for a lot of the guests that we've had on, that's been one of the common themes. It's just finding that balance
right,
of entrepreneurship, your home life, relationship, and like you said, even being present, because you can be home
right,
and not necessarily be present.
right.
And I think a lot of times, men, to be honest with you, man, that may even be worse than not being there.
That is, man. So that's what I'm saying. Like just being, I've been focused on just being just present, period, just being like in the moment. Cause that's a lot of the times, them anxieties when you get to thinking too much about, creating all these scenarios in your head. I'm like,
Mm.
I'm doing my best to be right here, right now, um, engaged, in tune, and just really grateful for this very moment. Still planning for the future, still making moves, but just right here, right now, just
Mm.
this very breath, this very second, speaking with you, just being here. Like that's really like for me, it's when I started like becoming more alive and like being more, just in tune with life and just this present right here that is our gift.
Yeah. Well, look, man. We kind of we normally end the show like this, and we normally end it talking about highs and lows. So we know that within this entrepreneurship, within the journey itself, there's always a high and there's always a low.
Right.
I, I want you to tell us what is your highest high so far, and then what is your lowest low. It doesn't necessarily have to be in that order, but just want to hear it, and just want to hear it from you.
I would say my lowest low, we kind of talked about that was the Shark Tank rejection. That was definitely my lowest low. Man. I was like that was definitely a moment where I was like, you know what? I don't know what's next. I don't know what's next. I was in the hole, didn't know what the next spot, where the next step for the business was, other than what we were doing, but which it was good, but it was just again not scalable. Lost my business partner at that time. That was the lowest low. You know what I mean? Really trying to figure it out. And I would say my highest high was being able to bounce back from that. And now, just as of August, like I said, we lost a $500,000 deal. Took me 5 years to grind it back to get to another $500,000 deal, and then also move my family to Atlanta. So I think that was the biggest thing. Originally from Kansas City, love KC, but just the ceiling is low. It's not as much opportunity. It's just slower. It's just a smaller market, smaller city.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a great test market. I learned a lot there. Love my hometown of KC, but getting my family out of that environment to Atlanta, just a better quality of just living, more opportunity. So I think that's my highest high. Like now, just as of August, moved my entire family here to the A, and just really getting started to turn up this incredible journey and make healthy hip hop like a household name, but first making a household name in Atlanta, and then creating this wave here that's going to reverberate, across the world.
Yeah, because the A is jumping, man.
Oh, bro,
Listen,
jumping like jacks,
man,
baby.
it's so much stuff happening down in Atlanta. You spoke about going to the gathering spot down there,
Oh yeah,
with
that's
all of the like-minded individuals that they have there. Hopefully, I can get Ryan on. Hopefully, I can get him on the show.
Oh yeah. Ryan's big dog.
Yeah,
He's
man.
big dog.
Yeah, because the things that they got going on, well, and not just there, because now they've opened up. I know they got one in DC as well.
They got DC, they got LA. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
they're doing
So
one in Houston or
yeah,
something next.
so they are killing it right now. But
Right.
I think you guys are definitely in a great space by moving down there, because of the opportunities,
Right.
because of all of the other individuals that are there, kind of. Something about when you can get around like-minded individuals.
That's it. Yeah, and it's the activity down here. It's the Southern hospitality is real. Like if you come down here and you bout your business and you really making moves, like they're gonna support you down here. They want to see other black men and women like win. Like
Yeah,
they win. They winning down here. So that's happening. And then if you talk about again, 'cause I see you got the public enemy on the wall. Like so, depending on who I'm talking to, like so hip hop was born in New York City. We know that, but it's
hmm
been living in Atlanta for the last I want to say what 30,
it's been Atlanta
at least
has
30
yeah Atlanta's been killing it for
since
probably at
Outkast, like
least
30.
well so when I think of how hip hop has changed, and when I think when Atlanta really start taking over the airwaves, Outkast, yes, but more so mainstream and big records, I think Lil Jon.
Yep, Lil Jon, yeah,
You know,
yeah,
I
Lil
think
Jon.
right around that time, he started putting stuff together, and radio was,
Yeah, that crunk, they turned it up. That was
yeah. So, but yeah, man,
I mean, even before that, but we talking about them Outcast boys, or
oh
they
yeah.
had some records, man.
Well,
They had some records.
So Outkast, they definitely are probably the ones that really put Atlanta on the map. Period.
Right.
Like, no, I don't think, and I could be wrong, but I don't think too many cats were talking about Atlanta when it came to music until Outkast really kind of
Right. They were the pioneers,
scene.
I think.
Yeah. And once they came out, Atlanta started getting eyes on them.
Right.
And then from there it just kind of
it just went out. It went gone.
Took off, man.
And you're right too, because Lil Jon, he more like made the commercial records. Like he made this. He had it was just as far. He had a little. I want to say maybe 3 to 5 year window where every beat was Lil Jon.
Lil Jon, yeah. Well, so between Lil Jon and, like you said earlier, Jermaine Dupri.
Jermaine Dupri.
Yep. So between the two of them, I think they really. And so you're definitely in the mecca right now for entrepreneurship, business. There's so many networks and contacts and relationships to build out there that ultimately could really put you in a better space, bruh. I appreciate you, man. I know that with entrepreneurs, and I've said this before, time is that one thing that probably is the most expensive and the most precious thing that they have. And you took an hour and some change out of your day to come hang out with us. And so I appreciate it, man. Please tell your wife and your children that I said thank you for allowing us to have this time. And anything that I can do, listen, man, I ain't got a whole lot of money yet. But if there's anything that I can do, we can do, please let me know. I'm gonna get my kids. We'll probably go download this app when I finish, so that way they can, just kind of get a hold of it. And now listen, man, I'm a fan of music. I kind of said that to you before. So I heard what you said. I hope these dudes can really spit, man.
Hey, bro, listen. My thing, I'm a big fan too. Like my ear, like. Check it out, man. See what you think. I think you're impressed, man. Download the app. It's free. You know what I'm saying? Check out the music. I think you're gonna be impressed. I definitely want to hear your feedback on it.
Okay, will do, man. Hold on for me just a minute, all right?
Okay.
So once again, you guys, it's the Mind Your Business podcast. It's your man JB. I appreciate you guys. Once again, powered by Hanging with the Harrisons. And if you haven't, we got to do this again. Make sure you guys go to Bonfire. Let me see. Can I do this? Hold on. I keep telling you guys, I'm learning this app. Hold on just a minute. Let me see if this is going to work out. Hold on. Yeah, I don't say nothing just yet. I'm going to add this. Let me see. Boom. Add the ticker. Scroll the ticker. Do we got it? Let me see if I know what I'm doing. Hold on. I think so. Let me see. Oh, yeah. Listen, you guys, I'm getting better at this. But once again, that's the site. If you haven't ordered your hoodies, your tees, your long sleeve sweatshirts or whatever, you guys go ahead and do it, because this campaign is only going to be up for a certain time. I'm not trying to rush you. I'm not trying to press you guys for nothing, but I already know that once the campaign is over, then I'm going to have cats going to be hitting me up to me. Yo, man, I was just about to order my hoodie. Yeah, I know. I know. But I'm just saying, I'm trying to let you guys know what it is. So, but that's what we got, man. Once again, I appreciate you guys for hanging out with us. It's the Mind Your Business podcast. Shout out to my man, Roy Scott of Healthy Hip Hop. And I appreciate him as well. And you guys check it out. If you go to the Instagram, we got our link tree right there at the profile. Hit the link. We've got his information is right there. So you can go to the site, check it out. Listen, download the app. You can do all that for yourself. Even if you don't got no kids, you can still do it again. Once again, it's called Healthy Hip Hop. And for those of you, you can go to my Instagram, Mind Your Business, at mindyour.biz. Right there at the top of the page, the link. Hit that link, and it'll take you right there. You'll see Roy Scott. His information is right there. You can click on it, and you can check out the site and everything. So I appreciate you guys. Once again, It's Mind Your Business Podcast, powered by Hanging with the Harrisons, and we'll talk very, very soon.